Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? So today we are going to be drafting out a basic bodice pattern. Now this basic bodice pattern is not going to be the regular simple one. This one is going to be the one you are going to be using for your corset and for your bustiers. So it's going to be a pattern for both the front and the back, and we are going to be so in this pattern we are going to be seeing the differences between your front pattern and your back pattern. That's because by the time you actually measure your back pattern, you notice that your back pattern is usually shorter than your front pattern. So we are going to be doing that, and we are going to be seeing how the differences can be adjusted into each other. So let's get started with the tutorial. So the first thing I'm going to be drawing a straight line here, which is going to be my starting line. So from this starting line now, every pattern I'm going to be drafting out is going to be starting from here, which is my starting line. The first thing I'm going to be taking my shoulder measurement. So for me, my shoulder measurement is 15. So I'm going to be dividing 15 divided by 2, which is going to be giving me 7.5, and I'm going to be placing it. Then the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be taking my shoulder slope. So my shoulder slope is 1 inches. Now, the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be taking my neck measurement, my neckline measurement. So the neckline I'm going to be using is 3 by 3, which is actually the standard for basic bodies and for making any design you want to do. So from this 3 by 3, that is where you now advance and probably begin to draw different type of neckline. So now we are going to be taking that 3 by 3, 3 here, 3 downward, and I'm going to be connecting this into a neckline. So now the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be connecting my shoulder slope down to my neckline here. So now the next thing you're going to be doing is that you're going to be taking your bust point. So you measure your own bust point. But for me, my bust point is 10 inches. And my under bust is 12.5. My under bust is 12.5. Then next thing you're going to be taking your half length. My half length for me is 15.5. My half length for me is 15.5. Then from this 15.5, I'm going to be taking my hip measurement. So that is your hip line. So my own hip line is 9 inches. I'm going to be taking from my half length here, I'm taking 9 inches downward. And that is going to be where I'm going to be placing my hip measurement. I hope you understand that. So the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be connecting all of these points into a straight line. And I'm going to be labeling all this line. So this is my bust point. This is my under bust. This is my waistline. And this is my hip line. So from here, if you are making a dress, you can just extend and take the length of the measurement of the dress you want to work with. So now the next thing we are going to be doing is that we are going to be taking our chest line. Now to get your chest line, you are going to be dividing your bust point into, you're going to be dividing your round bust, that is your round bust circumference. You're going to be dividing it into 6 inches, then you're going to be adding 1.5. When you do that, that is how you're going to be getting the exact point where your chest line is supposed to be, and that is the same way you're going to be getting the amount of your armhole measurements. So for me, after I was done doing that, I had 7 inches. So I'm going to be placing the 7 inches under my shoulder slope, not on top of this shoulder line, under the shoulder slope here. That's where you're going to be placing your 7 inches. Then another way you can get your chest line is just to come up from your bust point by 2 inches. I think it works for most people. So after you measure your client's bust point, the next thing is just to come up for the chest line by 2 inches. That's how you get your chest line. So I'm going to be connecting this point also into a straight line, which is my chest line. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be taking the same measurement I took for my shoulder here, which is 7.5. I'm going to be taking it here, and I'm going to be connecting it into a straight line. So now what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to get my shoulder curve, that is my armhole curve. So now the next thing you're going to be doing is that you're going to be dividing your measurement here. What I have here is 7 inches. Remember, it's 7 inches. So I'm going to be taking the midpoint of 7 inches, which is 3.5, and I'm going to come in from that 3.5 by half inches here, then I'm going to be connecting this into a straight line, just the way I placed my ruler. You see the way I'm placing my ruler? You curve your hand this way, just to that half point. So the next thing you're going to be doing is that you're going to be covering this into your chest line this way. So after you are done doing this, the next thing you are going to be doing is that you are going to be taking your dart measurement, your regular dart measurement. So for me, you are going to be measuring your nipple to nipple. My own nipple to nipple, is 4 inches. My own nipple to nipple is 8 inches. So 8 inches divided by 2 is 4. So I'm placing my dart leg this way. So now to take your dart leg, I'm going to be working with 7.5 here, 7.5 here. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be taking that same. Now you notice that on my chest line, I went in by 7.5, by 0.75, and I came out by 0.75. I'm going to be connecting it in a short while now. But the next thing you're going to be doing that is that you're going to be placing your same nipple to nipple measurement on your bust points here, which is 4 inches, which is what I'm doing. Then on your hip line also, you're going to be placing your 4 inches there. And you're going to be connecting these 3 points into a straight line. So now the next thing I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be connecting this dart leg here to this bust point, and this other one also to this bust point. So the next thing you're going to be doing is that on your hip line, you're going to be coming up by 3 inches. On your hip line, you'll be coming up by 3 inches, just the way I place my tape rule. So you'll be coming up by 3 inches. That is where you're going to be attaching the dart leg. Now, the reason why we don't like the dart leg to be coming down to your hip line is because it's going to be giving you a funny structure by the time you are done with your dress. But when it's between these places, it's usually nice and looking very okay. So the next thing we are going to be doing that these 3 inches here, I'm going to be connecting this way and also this way. So this is how to draft out your simple basic bodice. So the next thing we are going to be doing is that we are going to be inserting our normal measurements. So now to insert your bust measurement, so the bust measurement I'm working with is 35 inches. So 35 inches divided by 4 is going to be giving me 8.75. So this is my 8.7, this is my 8.5, this is my 8.75. So I'm going to be placing it here. Now I'm going to be adding 1 inch for my sewing allowance. So now the next thing you're going to be doing is you're going to be working on your waistline. So for me, my waistline is 28. So 28 divided by 4 is going to be giving me 7 inches. Then you're going to be placing your sewing allowance, which is 1 inches. Then the next thing you're going to be doing is that you're going to be measuring what you have between your dart leg. So for me, I have 1.5. I'm going to be placing back my 1.5. I'm going to be replacing it here, because if you do not replace this one there back there, by the time you finish, your material is not going to be enough for you to sew. So that is where I'm replacing it back. So now the next thing I'm going to be working on is the hip line. So the hip line I'm working with is 38. So 38 divided by 4 is going to be giving me 9.5, and I'm also going to be adding my 1 inch sewing allowance. So I'm going to be connecting all of these points now into a straight line. I'm going to be connecting all of the points. So after you're done connecting all of these points, now the difference between the back and the front, which we talked about in the beginning of the video, so that's what I'm going to be taking now. The difference between your bust, your back and your front is that, number one, you're going to be measuring yourself. That's how you get the difference. So for me, after I was done measuring myself, I noticed I had 2 inches for my bust, for the difference between my front and my back measurements. So I'm going to be placing my 2 inches this way. So you notice that I'm placing the 2 inches from my bust points, from this line, and I'm coming down by 2 inches. So you are going to be connecting these 2 inches back to your bust point here. That's your nipple to nipple measurement. So now by the time you'll be cutting out this part. I will be cutting out this part. So now let's cut out the back measurement so that you can see what we are doing. But now let's cut this one out. This is it now for my front measurement. So let's cut out the back. Same way we started with the front, we are going to be starting with the back that same way, which is drawing the starting line. So now the next thing I'm going to be doing, you're also going to be taking your shoulder measurement, which is 15. You're going to be replacing almost the same thing you did for the front, 7.5 here. You come down for your shoulder slope. Then from here you measure your 7 inches. So I'm just trying to replace everything I did for the front, apart from the vertical measurements. So for the neck of the back also, we're going to be going in by 3 inches. Then I'm going to come in down, instead of 3 inches that we came down by for the front, we're going to be coming down by 1 inches for the back here. So you'll be connecting this will be your neckline for the back. And I'm going to be connecting my shoulder slope, then my chest line. When we're working on the front, I've showed you how to get your proper chest line. So now the next thing we're going to be doing is that I'm going to be taking in my bust points. So now for this back, you don't really need your bust points. You don't need your bust points, you don't need your under bust, because by the time you take the measurement, you notice that the back is shorter than the front. So now for me, now that my back is shorter by 2 inches, so it means that automatically my waistline is now 14. Means that my back line is now 14, or mine is now 14 inches. So from this 14 inches now, I'm going to be measuring my hip line, which is 9 inches, and I'm going to be converting all of this into a straight line. So now the next thing I'm going to be doing is that we're going to be taking our dart leg. Now to take our darts, remember that for the front we did 4x4. We're also going to be doing 4x4 for the back. So you're going to be taking your 4 inches, this way also. So the next thing you're going to be doing, that you know that for our front, when we took out the dart point was on the bust point, but for now, for this one, it's going to be on the chest line. So on this chest line also, I'm going to be measuring 4 inches, and I'll connecting these 3 points into a straight line also. So from this dart, now I'm going to be taking my dart leg, which is 0.75 for here, 0.75 here, connecting this back to my chest line this way. Then I'm going to also be coming up by 3 inches here also, the way I did for the front, by 3 inches this way. And I'm also going to be connecting the dart leg. So now I'm going to be taking my shoulders, my armhole curve here for the back. You know, for the front we went in by ½ inch, but for the back we're not going to be going in by any inch. You're just going to be making your curve this way. You see how simple it's looking. So the next thing, you're going to be taking your body measurements. So 35, we are working with 35 divided by 4 plus 1 inches measurements for allowance. Then waist 7 plus your 1.5 here. So you take your 7, you add your 1.5, and you add your 1 inches. Then for your hip, then you are going to be adding your 1 inches also. So here you'll be connecting your 3 points together. So now I'm going to be cutting this out for the back. That's everything you need for your basic bodice for your back. Now this basic body does not have a zipper allowance. there's a basic bodice pattern on my channel where I added the zipper allowance, and that one is just for a basic bodice pattern. Remember I said that this one is for the ones you can use for your corsets, you can use for your bustiers and all of that. So that is why this one I did not add any zipper allowance for the back, because you might want to add loop, you might want to dramatize the back, you might want to do so many things. But whatever it is that you want to do, you'll be starting with this basic back pattern. And this is for the front. So now by the time I place them each other, you notice that the front is definitely going to be longer than that of the back. As you can see, it's definitely going to be longer. So now to adjust this is how you are going to be doing it. You are going to be cutting this part open. I hope you understand. This part, this 2 inches open, then you are going to be placing it this way. As you can see, before you even start cutting it on your fabric, you can see that it's bringing out your bust shape already for you. So you're going to be gluing this place down. I don't think I have a gum here, but let me pin it down with my pin. So now let me place it this way. So this is how it's looking. But the interesting part about this is that after you do it this way, automatically your sides will be equal. So you can see that my sides are now equal. So after I've done it that way, and you can see that it's already bringing out your bust shape. So from here now, if you want to draw out your corset and all of that, it's going to be giving you a perfect corset, the kind of corset that is going to contain your bust size very well, and everything will be relaxed. So guys, thank you so much for watching this tutorial. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If it was, please give me a thumbs up, and you can share it. You can share it with people you know that they will need this tutorial. And please, you can turn on your notification bell so that you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Bye, and I will see you in my next video.